The war on drugs is a campaign started in the early 1900s. Richard Nixon set out his plan to target black Americans and anti-war activists. Nixon made claims that drug abuse was the public's main enemy. The war on drugs was a powerful movement that not only racially targeted black communities, implicated racial disparities and discrimination, and had a long-lasting impact on the black community. Black Americans still suffer from policies implemented by the war on drugs back in the 1950s. John Ehrlichman, Nixon's key assistant, admitted that part of the plans were to arrest black leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify black Americans night after night on the evening news. These unjust practices were used to enforce stricter laws on the drug crimes and aided in the mass incarceration of black people in America. The goal of the campaign was to portray black people as criminals and drug abusers in order to disrupt their communities with prominent leaders and create images that black people were the problem and that jail was the only solution. Unfair laws were created, and as a result of these laws, they have created a rise in mass imprisonment and felony accusations. The Nixon administration created these strict laws for drugs that were more commonly found in black communities, such as crack, heroin, and marijuana. President Nixon also promoted policies like mandatory sentences and no-knock warrants. According to supporters of the war on drugs, the availability of illegal substances on the streets has decreased. As a result, illegal substances become more expensive, making it difficult for consumers to purchase them or forcing them to stop buying them altogether. However, partly as a result of media representations of those addicted to crack, the smokable form of cocaine. Racial discrimination takes place in a way that we see people of color given lengthier sentences, while white people are given help, taken to the hospital, or receive less harsh punishments. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession compared to white counterparts. Communities of color have greater policing levels and are more likely to receive severe punishments for drug-related offenses. The war on drugs is viewed by academics and the government representatives alike as one of the worst failures of American administration in the 20th century. More than 25 years after the 1994 crime bill and 35 years after the Anti-Drug Abuse Act expanded felony categories, mandatory minimum sentences, and 3-strike laws did not cause a decline in crime and did not dramatically lower drug usage. Imposing the 3-strike law disproportionately targeted black people due to the likelihood of unequal contact with law enforcement and the justice system due to racist practices. Not only would they receive harsher punishments for things that could be minor offenses, but they also face consequences with opportunities in their life. The laws allowed for black men especially to be torn from their families for crimes that the white counterparts would also commit but receive lesser punishment for. Statistics show that the effect that these policies have on the black community, every 3rd black male born in 2001 may anticipate spending some time behind bars.